Hi everyone, this is Mark from We Talk Art. I just finished reading a book and I thought I'd give you a little bit of a book review. Hopefully you guys are nicer than some of my high school teachers. The book is on Rembrandt van Rijn, who lived between 1606 and 1669, which was the end of the European Renaissance, or thereabouts. But this book is not on his paintings that he's probably best known for now. The book is on printmaking, which the book explains he was probably better known for in his time. I will tell you a bit about this book and who might enjoy it, so let's roll the intro and get into it. This book is Rembrandt Etchings, Looking at Rembrandt's Prints by Michiel Kersten. The book is a fairly short read, something that you could probably read in just a couple hours. It is also an easy read, avoiding a lot of the complex art speak and language that might put some people off. Despite this, I felt like the book was comprehensive, covering a range of subjects to a depth that I felt like I got a good understanding of Rembrandt's life, the printing techniques he used, and an overall art environment he lived and worked in. Kersten also wrote a bit about Rembrandt's personal life, influences, and included other artists. In a nutshell, I liked the book. I read the book on an Amazon Kindle format on an Apple iPad. I do not have access to the print version, so I can't comment on that. The Kindle version did lay out well, which is not true of all art books on the Kindle. The imagery was fairly good quality, meaning you could zoom into it and see additional detail, but it lacked the resolution to zoom into the level you could see the printmaking techniques such as cross-hatching or the technical line quality, which is also true of printed mass market paperback art books too, so I wasn't terribly disappointed with the format. The book starts with a discussion of why Rembrandt, a 17th century painter, turned to printmaking, the economy of art at the time, and the advantages for an artist of working in printmaking. Rembrandt mainly painted for commission, and as a result, most of his work was held in private collections. This meant that people of the time probably did not have the opportunity to see his work. Printmaking allowed Rembrandt to get his art out to a much larger audience and leverage the new and growing publishing industry. The book goes into an overview discussion of the various printmaking techniques of the time. This is of a level that anyone with an interest in printmaking would understand and enjoy. It is not an instructional guide. It also talked about how a 17th century printmaking studio would have worked and how it connected with the newly emerging publishing industry, which I found interesting. Rembrandt is considered to be a master at printmaking, and Kersten goes into his process and techniques that he incorporated into much of his printmaking process. Rembrandt developed an incredible voice with his printmaking, and the author used several of Rembrandt's most iconic prints to show off that voice and describe the techniques he used to achieve it. He also goes into a larger artistic process of working in printmaking, such as states, editions, and the limits of the number of quality prints you can make from a single work plate. The author also explains Rembrandt often made major changes to his images as he went through that printmaking process, and often combined different printmaking techniques such as etching, engraving, and dry point all in one plate. The author also talks about how Rembrandt's plates took on a life of their own after the artist passed away, with prints still being made from reworked original plates all the way till modern times. Like many artists of the time, one of Rembrandt's more common subjects was biblical imagery, and the examples of the book reflect that. Kersten also chose several self-portraits, lifestyle images, and landscapes from where Rembrandt lived and worked in Amsterdam to use as examples. I thought it was interesting that Rembrandt routinely took liberties with imagery for artistic purposes, a subject that I thought was relevant for today. Rembrandt was a master painter before he took on printmaking, and Kersten goes into how that influenced his style he developed in printmaking. The author helped the reader understand Rembrandt's prints by explaining some of the major elements, techniques, and complexities that the artist incorporated into many of his works, allowing the reader to better understand the visual language being used and further appreciate the artistic style. Kersten repeats his point that it takes time to look at a Rembrandt print, and I have to agree with him after reading the book. I felt like the artist's breakdown of Rembrandt's prints were a helpful exercise for any artist. Rembrandt used several techniques that were representative of his work that are now classic tools for artists to use in all kinds of art. The process of getting depth, contrast, focus, and form in a black and white medium such as printmaking is a challenge, and really looking at how Rembrandt achieved this with his printmaking is a lesson I found helpful. I enjoy seeing the work of old masters, not just for the amazing art, technique, and voice, but also for their interpretation of their time and place they lived. You can also see their take on history sometimes. With artists like Rembrandt, who produce such complex imagery with multiple narratives, subjects, and subtleties, you can really get a window into the artist's time. Overall, I'd recommend this book for anyone who has an interest in printmaking, art history, or Rembrandt himself. Again, I also feel like the analysis of Rembrandt's prints have value to any artist. I myself often like to do studies, sometimes in other mediums, of old mastered work, and I intend to use some of the images from this book to do studies in pen and ink. The book is Rembrandt Etchings, Looking at Rembrandt's Prints by Michiel Kersten. It was published by Art Publications in 2014. As I said, I read it in the Amazon Kindle format on Apple iPad, and I found it laid out well. At the time of this writing, the paperback version sells on Amazon for $14.95, and the Kindle version is $3.99. If you're interested, I would recommend seeing if you could buy the book locally if you're looking for the paperback version, but I do provide an affiliate link to Amazon in the show notes below if you want to order it from them. The channel does get a slight kickback if you use those Amazon links. In other Rembrandt news, the second phase of the restoration of Rembrandt's famous Night Watch has been started. The work is being performed in a glass chamber so the museum goers can watch. I will link to an article in Art News in the show notes below if you're interested. Are you a fan of Rembrandt? Were you aware that Rembrandt did printmaking? Have you seen this book before? Would you recommend any other books on Rembrandt? Let us know in the comments below. If you like this content, please consider giving us a like, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit that absolutely free subscribe button so you'll see future We Talk videos in your feed. Now go make some art.